pop computers and stuff like that. You just keep doing and doing and doing, and once you're down, really, once your ears are pressed.
But anyway, they came back again when they settled in about 2 years later.
Oh, I see.
And that's when the settlement was made permanent.
So then when did your
And I
family
just
come?
wanted, but it was a little different operation. And it was during the Depression when you couldn't hire. You hired help. Anybody want to work, or either work for a sawmill or want to work in the shipyard during the war years. And so I was left just doing all the work up there, tending the sheep and the cattle. And
How old were you?
Oh gosh, I probably put it.
So how old were you when your dad bought the ranch?
Well, I was 26 from, I was 10, 12 years old. I was born in 1908. And I was born in 26.
18, yeah, 18.
Well, I wasn't 18 when he bought the ranch anyway. I said, 8, you take,
18 plus 8 is 26.
I know, but take your 08, I'll take 26 from that. Take 26 and we'll wait.
26.
And that's to get how old I am. You're going out the other way. You're thinking,
Oh, yeah, but in 1926, you were 18 years old.
I wasn't either.
There you were. 18, 1908. 1908 plus 18 is 26.
Okay, I'm 18.
Okay, so you're 18 when your dad bought the ranch?
Well, I must have been.
You thought you were younger than that, didn't you?
Well, I thought I was younger. I was probably about 12 years old.
But you have the records or something, so you know he did buy it in 1926?
So then when did you buy the rest of it, and that $8,000?
Well, I was trying to say that is, and, well, we ran that, Ray and Dad, it's kind of a partnership up until about 1940 something, when Ray went to work on the shipyards in California. And then I was there alone for that. During that period of time, a fairly prosperous year right there. And that's when I paid the rest of the ranch off.
That was like almost during World War II then.
Yes.
In the 40s.
I don't know.
Well, let's just start. What did your dad do before he got the ranch?
For sheep.
For himself? He had sheep?
Well, he got started in that with Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill Taylor. And he got started. Well, mainly, I don't know how he got started. He was a very successful man. Young fellow, sheep and stuff. And then Dad, and he kind of started all of this, Tedder Brothers, working for him. And started all this.
Bill did?
Yeah.
And then what got him interested in the ranch?
Well, I said, he decided he spent very good middle of land. He had rented the sheep out and had some time. So we decided to buy some land, and he selected Dodge Ranch because of the amount of hay that was produced there.
The Dodds were putting up hay at the
Yeah,
time?
Yes. That's about the only interest he had in putting hay out.
So what, did the Dodds put it up for sale, or did he come and offer him some money because he wanted it?
John Dodds had about acquired the controlling interest in that. And he was fishing yet. And so he had the mortgage to stay in town. And so it became known that they were talking about foreclosing on it. So then that was the need of it.
So he just went in and said, he raised some money, and said, "I'll take over the loan and things because they're getting foreclosed anyway." Did they hate to see it go?
Well, I think they always have. Although John Dodds never did go back in business. Tom and his sisters, he had 3 sisters. Tom, Marie, and Mary, and Jean. And his sisters. And they were kind of young too. But John Dodds never did go back into business. He sold his sheep interest out. And rights and everything that he had, and he went through the sheep. Whitaker's, I'm sure, they ended up.
So how much hay and sheep and things did you start out doing? Tell us again.
I just started out doing, well, we raised about 200 ton of hay.
Well,
And we pastured about between 20 and 30 head of cows we milked. That was in the summertime.
Well, did you guys live up there at the ranch? As soon as you bought it, did you move up to the ranch?
No.
Or?
As soon as he bought it, he had other families move on the ranch, and they ranched on the shed. They milked the cows, and tended the water, and for a share of the cheese and butter that they produced.
And so he was just kind of the owner of it. He didn't really go work on it?
Well, he did a lot of work on it too.
Oh, he was up there also.
He didn't do anything on the development, pull the willows out and fence it, build roads and let
Were there lots of houses up there for these people to live in, or where did they stay?
To tell you the truth, Craig, they just stepped out into the little ones.
Did they?
There was an old house over there by the spring, or that palm beach.
Uh-huh.
That's where our main house was there on the ranch. That's where they lived.
Was it there when you bought it?
Yes. And I'm not right sure who built that house, but it was there when we first went there. There was a low log portion and another kind of, it wasn't hardly a lean-to, it was an extension there made out of lumber. But it was a pretty rickety house, and the cows had been living in it and roosting in it. And you'd go up in the spring of the year and take your shovel and shovel all the manure out one side and clean it out and all that.
Well, did the whole families go up there and stay, or did just the men stay up there?
No, the whole family was
So they milked the cows and made the cheese and everything from that.
They milked the cows, their responsibility to milk the cows, make the cheese, and tend the water.
From Butler Creek, the rice
So
that you had from that.
were those irrigation ditches around already, or did?
Well, no, there were irrigation ditches around Parkway. And then the dad kind of extended that on down in the pasture.
And tell us again how you had to bale the hay. About the baling that you were telling me.
Baled hay with horse balers, we call it. And it consisted of a baler. The horse would hook on what they called a sweep. And there was something that, like that, and they hooked on the end here, and it would go around there. They would crowd the hay and push it up into a tight bale.
What would the hay would be up against this board or something?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you put the little piece of wood, you were saying?
Well, I said that it took 3 men. One of them puts the hay in the baler, one to feed it, and the other one would tie it, and she tied it while they had little flat piece of wood you usually put in the end of it, stay running under the wire, but you weighed it. You weighed it on the power scale. And put it in the
Oh, so you knew exactly how much you had
You knew
then?
just exactly how much hay.
And how much did hay sell for a ton then? Do you
Oh,
remember?
we sold hay for about $10.
Doug said he just sold his hay for $100 a ton.
Is it Doug? Yes.
They haven't got any money from it yet, and they've taken 400 bales of hay.
Let's see, so,
Okay, not all stop me this time.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
I said after we started to grazing the ranch of the sheep and cutting down on the amount of hay we put there, and I took the ranch over and didn't have any neighbor to do it with, well, I decided that it was easier to buy some bunch of steers and put on there and graze the grass off rather than altogether. And I believe that was the best.
What year did you decide that?
Oh gosh, about 1944. 40. And then after we took the sheep off.
Did you see the latest county news?
Yeah, it's about
I saw our on the news last week.
No, it's here. Feeling.
And
It's right.
Dad divided the ranch between he told Ray and I that he would give us a third interest in this setup.
Well, he would take 1/3 and you two guys would get 1/3, is that how it worked? Or who had the other third?
Well,
He took 1/3.
Okay.
that's one of them took
And
one.
each one was took the third. And he first divided in that Ray took the bluegrass side, Dad took the north meadow, and I got the lower pasture. And that was probably, Ray was the first one to go up there and start to put plowing up the brush and bluegrass. But he used an old hand plow. And I had bought a tractor, so then I moved in on the tractor and plowed all the rest of the land, but we kind of
Then
developed.
How did they pull out all the sagebrush and
Well,
all up and burn them?
I'll interrupt you.
Takes lunches for a
So
big
our
bunch
Uncle
of
Ray
farm.
feels like that he's the one that developed bluegrass, but he probably plowed 2 or 3 acres.
With the hand plow.
With the hand plow. And I plowed all the rest with the tractor. Of course, we take turns plowing the tractor too. And we developed that ranch there, but we never did plant any grass over there. We just watered, and the grass came. And
On the bluegrass?
uh-huh. Even out there in that sagebrush, I remember the first 2 or 3 times we cut sagebrushes, stairs bigger than the thumb there, and bail on up to down in hay. And it sort of was good hay up there. That's where the ridge was done.
You planted it into alts or something first, didn't you?
But after a while, and I had one sheep, the sheep was desirable for a while out there. And our range being out the other side, we decided that I would trade the north pasture for bluegrass. So that's how I traded the bluegrass over there. And besides that, Ray didn't like to tend the water, he didn't like to irrigate, so Dad said, we put him down in the north pasture where you'll have to irrigate, and we put him right down on it.
So we won't have, we know you'll get wet.
Right,
But
yeah, done for it. And anyway, that's, we made the trade there. And I took bluegrass.
What year was that, do you think?
Well, I think it was, I wouldn't know, we were never, it was
Well,
after we were
it was
married.
after we were married in 33 and
It might have been as late as 36.
So it was fairly soon after you guys divided it up into thirds that, then it was only a few years you had it. You had the lower pasture and then you switched up only a few years after that, right?
Well, then, after we had made that division, then and I traded the lower pasture for the bluegrass side. At that time, the bluegrass was quite a lot more desirable, particularly for the sheep because it was a dry meadow. Yeah. And
Who gave it the name Bluegrass? Who named all the pastures?
Well, it was always called Bluegrass Hall.
Bluegrass Hall.
Bluegrass Hall.
Even before there was any,
Even before
Meadow?
anything in there, it just, it's hard, Norton Hall is the next hall over, and the Deer Pen and so on and so forth, it just, called Bluegrass.
so it was already named that before you knew it.
It was all over the long time. You find the original, you might say. And then, let's see. Well, the houses up there was always this old ranch house over there with a spring, and that's where we did the ranch. That's where, there was a spring there, a good spring, a cold water spring. And until we built that ditch up above it there, then it seemed like that the slough water began to seep in there, and the spring was not as cold then as it was to begin with.
There's that ditch right up along, just below the hillside, is that what the one you're talking about? You're not, we don't use it now, but you dug that in there and then that made the more sloughie underneath?
Well, we dug it there when we first went there. I guess maybe Dodge or somebody dug that down under the hill. When you irrigated up on the hill, you didn't know what down the hill.
Well, when was it that you went in and they paid you for putting in all those drains?
Well, it was,
I thought that's what made it change.
I don't know whether it was PWA, when was that? 1938?
That was the work group camps or whatever.
PWA and the
What's PWA stand for?
Public Works Administration and CCC camp. And so they were looking for projects. And they went up, they wanted to fill up the ranch and they, you can see the CC boys, a lot of them worked on that, but it's more or less a PWA project. But they dug all those drains by hand, but they were mostly out in the middle. They were mostly out in the middle.
And did you pay for it
No,
to
we
do it?
didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, they were looking for something to do and the government was paying them.
Uh-huh.
So that was kind of nice to have that done then.
I thought they dug one up that as far as the spring.
Well, they tried to dig around the spring. It wasn't, they winged it above the spring and dug one drain in this direction, the other went down in this direction, and the spring was in here. But it seemed like that we didn't maintain them. And we began the grazing and the livestock and stuff trunked, and we trunked the drains for we just let them fill up with it. This was one thing that made us a swamp. There was, well, it was always swampy around in that spring area there. All we used to down the
If you go down your feet all day tomorrow, you better move that thing there and sit down.
I was going to talk about the houses.
I read the county news, and it probably right up in that corner over there.
We had this old log house, that's what we called a dilapidated place it was to begin with. It was used in the summertime for the people that made the cheese and milked the cows in that time, and in the wintertime it was more or less just a camp. And somebody built there and keep cattle.
Oh,
Anyway, you wanted to do
Did
that
you keep
way.
the cattle up at the ranch all winter?
Sometimes.
Did you?
So after we started to work together, particularly Ned and I started to remodel our house. And we got lumber from up to the sawmill. And we got tongue-grooved lumber, and I lined the house all over with this tongue-grooved lumber. Those boards about that wide.
Was it expensive?
Well, we trade pay for it, I don't know. It was no more expensive than common ordinary lumber, but it made a good tight job on the house. And we were quite enthused with it. I thought we had a really nice little house for it. So,
What year do you think this was?
it was about 1938. Rita, well, Rita's was born and Dad
We
was
had Beat
born.
and Danny up there when I was making cheese. We brought Vita down, she was 6 years old, so we could figure it from that. We brought her down to go to kindergarten or 5, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old.
We had rearranged the front room of the house. The mistake I made, I tried propping the roof out and the only youngest.
Well,
He
And
got old,
we fixed quite a nice, in addition to it, called the cheese house, and the supplies and people on the porch out there in front. It's quite a nice
we had the
place.
cheese house this way,
But,
the kitchen across this way, and the bedrooms and things this way, and
Well,
that was
yeah.
nice.
So you
So
made cheese
we
and
just
sold
got
it?
it fixed up so it's quite livable, was quite proud of it. It was in the fall of the year, and we were hay. It was, it came up deer hunting season down on about 20th of October. So you see how they were in the hay. He's right, just kind of in the middle of it. And about all the help I could get with his school kids. So we were up there on the weekend. Had 5 or 6 school boys helping.
And I'd taken Vita to town to get her
Neighbor
tonsils
had
out,
taken Vita downtown to
ready for school.
and left me up there taking care of these hired men. Like
Vita
we
and Danny,
quit
I
for
took
lunch.
Danny too.
We came over to the house to get dinner, and I picked up a pan full of chips, just good old picture chips, and went in there and cut off some good slices of ribs and had the dinner going in about 30 minutes. We just sat down to eat dinner, and the men looked up and they said, "The house on fire." So we all jumped up and grabbed some buckets and so went out to put these buckets under the spring water, and they just running like a tap running out there in the house just to fill it up with smoke. And it took us a little while to get organized instead of trying to get the water out of the spring. We just picked down the base and put it in. There's a thing that caused it. On this house, it had a loft in it, and every time we go to town, we take the pasteboard box and throw it over this loft. And we had up there stored things like coal oil, gasoline, white gas, and oil. And
Bullets.
we just deer hunting time, and we had the ammunition stored up there, and ammunition was real hard to buy too. And the guns and everything else was stored up over this house. And so we finally decided we were going to fight the fire. You couldn't throw it on top of the roof, because the fire was down in between this loft and the so we threw 2 or 3 buckets of water up inside there, and very near got put out, and somebody hit a gallon of white gas. And that stuff just came right down the wall like this and right all over the floor. The flame just come after it. And so we began to work on that again. Just about got that put out. The ammunition started going.
Oh, I bet that was quite a sight.
Everybody started to become surprised. Finally, I said, just let it go. So
didn't that just
Then
make
after-
you sick?
tried to save all the cheese we tried to carry down. A ton of cheese about down the creek, before it burned up everything we had, the clothes.
See, we traded cheese all summer long. We had a winter supply of food, canned food and everything up there, and man. I think
So-
we got out of it one blanket, didn't you? Up on the bed on the porch or
So
something.
you thought you think it burned down around 1938? That was your dad was born.
Well, I know it.
So
He was
that's
about 2 years old.
so then it would have burned down in about 1940 then.
Wow. So then what did you do if you lost everything?
Well, we just started over again.
So you were
We
still
went-
raising
We moved
sheep?
down.
We went to Panguitch, we didn't go back.
We didn't intend to do it anyway. We started
So did you build another house there?
No, we never did build any house up. So then from then on, every time we'd go to the ranch, you didn't know, where will we build the house? Where will we build the house? And everybody had a different idea of where to build the house, so we just never did build back again. And then on, you know what happened, you were up there, we traveled up the ranch, and everybody back down the same line.
Yeah, but that was in the I would did that in the early 70s and late 60s. I mean, what happened between then?
When did
Well,
you stop raising cattle and making cheese and stuff?
Well, when the house burned down, we never did make any more cheese and things after that.
So then you guys moved back to town, then you just go work during the day, up there during the day?
We come back at night.
And by then did you have a car?
Well, we've got a car. About what about that time?
Well, when you go to town, how long would it take to go to town?
Well, if you had a horse and wagon, it'd take about 3 hours.
3 hours in a horse and wagon?
You had a car.
I thought it took a half a day.
I thought it would take longer than that, wouldn't it? You could do it in 3 hours?
You can't even ride a horse that far in
Drive
3
the
hours.
horses.
On a trot all the way?
Yes, a part of the way. Not jolted,
I would imagine. Was the road very good? Was it in the same place it is now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Told you a lot of good stories about, where the road went down into where the house was, didn't you? It came up there to the point, then it turned and came down and dug way down into where we had the house. And that was quite steep and scary. What Grandpa rolled the car there once, didn't he? Or twice, which was it?
You know,
It seemed like somebody was always getting,
Getting off on another story.
there was a lot of stories that ran along there.
So then when did you quit raising, didn't you just raise sheep after a while?
We raise sheep all the time.
Did you always raise cattle too?
Yeah. But that was our business. Sheep always got the priority for everything. In fact, I didn't know you could make money in Clay Central with sheep until I was grown.
So how much would you sell, how much did you make off a sheep?
Made
Back
everything
then.
about.
Karen said, after she was first married, she says, I can see where you could make money with the sheep. You'd sell the wool and you'd sell the lambs. But she says, how in the world do you make any money off the cattle?
Says you
Dad
don't
looked
milk
at it.
them.
Dad looked at me kind of funny. He says, have you ever heard of beefsteaks? She was embarrassed.
Well, that old house that was it's over on the north side of the ranch.
Where the North Corral is?
That was always up there. But to begin with, it was up about in the middle meadow, and that's the house that John Dodge used when he homesteaded there. And it sat on the west side of the creek, over about midway in the middle. And most of his homestead, I imagine, is over bluegrass and up the head of the ranch. It was John Dodge's homestead.
So he had it
The
out of the
meadow.
meadow then, it wasn't in the meadow.
The
It was
lower
not in there,
meadow
it was
was
on
built.
the other side of the creek, just barely on the other side of the creek there, right up there, that hillside. There's where he had that house.
In the lower
Yeah.
part of the middle, where Ray and them are now, all down in there was just clear full of willows.
After a while, Dad went up there and he moved that house down right in front of the trail.
How did you move it?
Put some logs on it, put 2 horses on it, and dragged the logs out like on a sleigh. And he was out right by that slough there in front of the trails where we had, and used it for a camp more or less in the winter time to feed the cows. And then where we camped, he would do it, he wanted to stay at the ranch overnight, which we did quite often before we had another ranch house. But that house was in. Then he moved it from there. He built that old trail. Someone calls the shearing trail, some of the sheep trail.
On the north
And
side,
then he
yeah.
was built for a stackyard. That's the one.
A stackyard there? Why'd you
Yeah.
build it there?
Yes.
His grandpa's idea, he had to be where he could see the whole ranch.
He had his ideas, but he moved that little house from there right up on top of that hill. On top of that hill where you can look around the whole thing.
Oh, is that right? Way up there.
It was a pretty hard job getting up there.
Well, you could go around back, I guess is how you brought it up.
Well, he usually came around from the front. Or he came around the back to me, but after that, it wasn't too hard on that. But then he had it up there, and everybody that came up would cuss about having to travel up that road.
Oh,
There was
just to
no
get up
road
to the house?
To get up that house. So then, he moved it down to where it is now.
By the corral, by the other corral.
And maybe get
Is
a time
that
to
too windy on the
build
way?
up, make their homestead there and shop there, and Raymond. and-
Because there's several little houses there,
The
wasn't
one up
there?
on the hill, where did that one come from?
No, when they came from Arkansas. So, there were 2 or 3 places around that they were abandoned. One of them was Orton Sawmill. They were making Orton Sawmill move off the forest. So they had some little cabins up there that they would either give you, I think you bid on for $4 or $5, and you'd have to move them off, and if you didn't move them off, you had to burn them off. So, they did the same thing over at Wedstone. Ray went in, he did 25 cents from everything he had up there, and he got it all.
Oh.
So he will be in 2 of those little there, and the one up on the hill.
Well, how did you move them?
Well, just like I said, he moved quite a lot of it as he could on a truck, put him on
Oh.
an 18-foot bed truck. So those cabins down would fit on. Other than that, it's time to pieces. Get it done.
You want to be awfully careful up there. There's been, there's quite this bubonic plague is rearing up, and stuff from the mice
The hantavirus?
Virus. So you want to be awfully careful up there. I don't know whether those are the right kind of mice that the droppings are so dangerous from, but you don't want to take any chances.
Well, I think the biggest danger up the ranch right now is there's been some convicts up there, and finally they've been clear down through the state of Utah, stealing cars and wrecking cars and taking the porch off them and holding up service stations, motels, and with piecing the things off in County News. But they finally went up in there on the White Ridge campground. It says the White Rock campground, but I know it must be the White Ridge. It says about 4 or 5 miles north of Piney's Lake. So that's where they finally got this one.
Oh, is that right?
But then I would want someone that like that getting around up the ranch, and he went on Swag Doug's radio. A bread bake or something like that.
Okay, well, let's see. What else do we...
So where'd you go from there?
Ranch.
So when did you start making money on the ranch? When did you feel like you were going to get above, you were going to be able to make it?
I don't know whether we ever did. It's always a struggle.
What year did you pay the ranch off? Do you remember when you finally did that?
Okay. The ranch, I paid off that $8,000, and so we could get it divided into and get to a title to it. In probably 1947 or 8.
So Dad would have been about 10 years old there.
Probably.
That's about when you'd made the money from, how'd you, from selling the sheep, was mostly your money made from the sheep? That and the hay?
Well, that's at that time it was one about the sheep. Then I got a chance to buy Blaine City's sheep permit, which consists of hay truck tractor, hips and barrel, and we would, and when I got old Neil
Have
Clover,
you ever seen that one, Doug?
when I got Neil Clover
Yeah,
to
watch
work
that.
for me, well, he handled the sheep, and then we divided it up in the pastures, and we run that, and lamb and sheep all himself.
At the ranch?
That's right. And he took care of them. And I paid him a 2-man job for he and his wife. So from then, I made good money on the sheep.
Yes.
Because you didn't have to do them, and you just
took care of 'em.
had Neil
That's
take care
once
of
that
them?
Dan listened to me, isn't it? That's once that you listened to me. You come home so mad, Neil, he said, right, Neil treats me just like I was a little boy instead of the owner of the sheep. He's gonna get rid of him. I said, now look, Neil's doing a good job, and you better keep him while you can. And I had to talk like a Dutch uncle to convince Dan to let him have his own way up there. Best thing that ever happened to us was when Neil Cole came in.
Well, how long
Took
did
over
Neil
the sheep.
run the sheep?
About 15 years.
15 years, huh? And he ran them up there at Ibsen and up through there. How much did you pay for that permit?
Well, I traded Hatch Mountain and all this.
Oh, you had a permit at Hatch Mountain, and this one was closer, so that's why you wanted it?
Well, it was right around Ransom, Heckle up at a range. That fifth mountain from Heckle range is the best range in Pangas, I think. It's the best water and best access to it. You drive up there, they go on the road. You could go down, get dinner down Pangas if you wanted to.
What year did they build the road and oil it? Do you remember?
Of course, the road is all good there, but then they did
Well, they moved
to
it too.
improve it.
They kind of moved it in a different place, part of it too.
But during that time, then we built the Dairy Queen.
Where'd you get all the money to build the Dairy Queen at?
Where did that come? Well, we had a little bit. And we took your dad's savings and needed savings. Relatives.
All the kids went in on it and had shares in it.
Well, you had to borrow to build it though, didn't you?
Well, we borrowed some. We always had a mortgage on our property, and then just done whatever we done.
What year was it that you did that?
Built Dairy Queen?
Uh-huh.
Oh, about 1950.
How many people lived in Panguitch?
Panguitch used to be about 2,000 people, and it dwindled clear down to about 1,300. And I don't know whether it's built back up to 2,000 again or not, do you?
It was about 16. About 16.
So I'll tell you about my first experience at the ranch.
Yeah?
Dan said we'd go out and stay, and we had this, Grandpa Tebbs took us out. We had a sheep wagon over on the north side, by the trail there. And said we could go in there and stay in that. So he had to go tend the water and go get the wagon and things. And I just worked my head off to clean that thing out. It was dirty, just filthy. Had all the quilts and blankets out, shaking them and getting them as clean as I could. Just got it to where it looked like we could sleep in it that night. Tired out, and here come the broadheads. There were people that used to ranch up to the ranch, and it was their sheep.
You didn't know it wasn't yours?
Yeah, Dan, it was, but they had left it there, quite a while, but they got a job someplace and they needed this sheep wagon. So they came up and just piled out all our bedding and everything we had out in the sagebrush. And when Dan came back, I was sitting out in the sagebrush, just feeling pretty blue about it. And he says, well, he'd go hook up the team and get a wagon and come up and move her stuff over to the old house on the side under the hill there. So we went and got the wagon and piled all our stuff on it. And we went over to the south side and got over there, and the cattle had broken into it and they'd been using it for a barn. So guess where we spent our first night up at the ranch?
Where?
On the ground out by the spring there, under the willow plants.
Well, I say we kind of jumped around a little bit.
Yeah, we have.
And it got me off from the
Stories.
thought.
You
The
better
chain
get
of
back
thought
on
that I
there
had.
then.
Well, get back
Yeah.
on there.
I don't know whether I can or not, but after we had that divided up, then my dad died. And I went in and bought
What year did your dad die?
1950. I guess that's right. That's when I bought Ruth's share of that estate. an Addy shower out of state.
$10,000.
$10,000.
First time we're married life, we've been out of debt. No, I did feel bad to go back in debt again.
And we never had a complete settlement. Ray and I and Dad did our partnership that we ran. Although we had property in different names, we ran them the same as a partner. And so I bought Ruth's and Addie's shower in there. I give $9,700. I was thinking to give $10,000 each for it. According to Miraculous, that I gave $9,700 each on that. And I got from I got a share in his estate. That gave me half of the sheep. Gave me more than half the sheep. In making that settlement, they gave me half the sheep and 2/3 of the range. That's my range. But so I took from Addie's and Ruth's share of the sheep and got 40 acres more of the ranch and about 300, probably 600 head of sheep. And that built up to where I had close to 1,600 head of sheep when I started out. Then, when after Mother died, she had 60 acres of her share of that estate, and it was mostly in the North Meadow. And Ray and I bought that, and he's supposed to divide that half and half, but I got the 30 acres. And that's Garbo's 30 feet I live with a lot. But not a very good cut on that, but that's the way we settled it. And that gave me 240 acres.
And that's what's there right now, right? 240 acres is the share that you owned then. That was.
I did. I did that. Then, when we decided to go on a mission, Neil Clove quit me, and I was getting kind of old, and you quit me too. Well, your dad moved down from Vegas, and he started taking over.
I never did help the sheep any though, did you, Craig?
Oh, well, I only a couple of times that I go up to Ipsum Cross and up on there and
You
messed
never
around a
did
little
either,
bit.
did you, Dan?
I remember when we had them.
Well, you remember, you did go out and herd the drives.
And you raised all the
So-
doggies.
Well, do you have kind of, you want to follow this script here and talk about that?
I haven't got any more scripts to talk about.
When did you quit raising sheep?
When we went on our mission, I guess, wasn't it? Dad?
When you went to Australia on your mission? Was when you finally sold out the sheep?
75?
Yeah, somewhere around there, I think.
And then I leased the sheep to Ray for a couple of years, and we took his cattle and I ran them. But trying to quit the sheep. And I decided that wouldn't work, and I'd sell out the sheep. So I sold them to Ray, and we made a trade with I took all the cattle he had, the sheep. And I took the cattle and he took the sheep.
He was always jealous. He wanted the sheep.
So we never did go back in the sheep after that. And then when your dad came in and he decided to run the ranch, I didn't feel like I wanted to go back in and try to tool up to run the farm and the ranch either. All the machinery was obsolete and worn out anyway. So I just decided to quit, and I never earned a nickel since then.
Good for you.
What percentage of your income came from the ranch? I mean, you had other jobs besides the ranch.
I would know how to do that, to figure that. Craig, there wasn't a great lot of income that came from it. Nearly all the cheese we made there, we either ate it ourselves or traded it for groceries. On any night there, we traded it for groceries, maybe $400 or $500 a year, something like that.